My name is Emily and I am from a small town in Philippines. I was only 19 years old when I got married to a man named David. He was kind to me in the beginning and my parents thought he was a good man. He lived in the United States and after the wedding I was supposed to go with him. I was scared. I had never been far from home. I had never taken a plane and I didn't speak much English. I cried a lot before I left. I didn't want to leave my family, especially my mother. She was everything to me. We talked every day, and she always helped me when I was sad. She cooked for me, made me laugh, and gave me warm hugs. I didn't know how I would live without her. Before we moved, David stayed with us in our house for 3 weeks. He was quiet and didn't talk much, but I thought maybe he was just shy. After those weeks, it was time to go. I packed my clothes and a few pictures of my family. My mother gave me a silver bracelet and said, "This is to remind you of me. Stay strong, my daughter." I hugged her tightly and cried so much. She was crying, too. I had never seen her like that. Saying goodbye felt like someone was pulling my heart out. We took the flight to New York. The journey was long and I felt sick. My eyes were red from crying and my stomach hurt. David didn't talk to me much on the plane. He looked out the window most of the time. I felt very alone already. When we reached New York, it was cold and windy. It was winter and snow was falling. I had never seen snow before. It was beautiful, but I could not enjoy it. I was too sad and scared. David's father came to the airport to pick us up. His name was Mr. Collins. He looked serious and didn't smile. His wife, Miss Collins, stayed at home to cook, David said. We arrived at their house in New Jersey. It was small, dark, and very quiet. I went to my room and sat on the bed. My heart was heavy. I missed my home already. That night, I could not sleep. I kept thinking about my mother and father and my 2 younger brothers. I wanted to run back to them. But I couldn't. I was now a wife and this was my new home. The next day, Mrs. Collins called me to the kitchen. She gave me a list of chores. Clean the living room, wash the dishes, cook rice, and don't be lazy, she said in a cold voice. I didn't understand everything, but I understood enough. I felt like a helper, not a daughter-in-law. I worked all day. My back hurt and my hands were dry from the cold water. David didn't help. He just sat with his father, drank coffee, and watched TV. When I asked him if I could rest, he said, "My mom likes things clean. Try to do your best." Every day was the same. I woke up early, cleaned, cooked, and stayed quiet. I didn't know how to say no. I didn't know how to speak up. I was too scared to make anyone angry. Mr. Collins had a loud voice and he shouted if I did something wrong. One time I burned the rice and he shouted so loudly that I cried in the bathroom for an hour. Weeks passed and I started to feel more and more sad. I didn't laugh anymore. I didn't talk to anyone except David and even he stopped listening to me. I missed my family so much. I wanted to call my mother, but David said the phone bill was too expensive. He told me I could call her once a month. I waited for that one call like it was gold. I cried when I heard her voice. I lied to her and said, "I'm fine, Mama. Everything is okay." But it wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. After 3 months, I found out I was pregnant. I was happy and scared at the same time. I thought maybe now things would get better. Maybe the family would be happy and David would love me more. But nothing changed. Mrs. Collins said, "Now you must work harder. A strong woman works even when she is pregnant." She gave me no rest. I worked with a heavy body and a tired heart. David still listened to his parents and never stood up for me. He didn't ask me how I felt. When I got sick in the mornings, he just said, "Take rest after the work is done." One day I felt dizzy and almost fell in the kitchen. My hands were shaking and my head was spinning. I sat down on the floor and tears came to my eyes. I was so tired, so alone, and so scared. That night I held my stomach and whispered to the baby, "You are not alone. I will protect you. I will be strong for you." The baby gave me hope. I started to dream about a better life. I wanted to learn English, get a job, and make money. I wanted to buy my own house where no one could shout at me. I didn't want to live under fear anymore. When the baby was born, it was a boy. I named him Ethan. He was beautiful with big brown eyes and soft hair. I held him in my arms and felt strong for the first time. I thought, this is my son. I will protect him no matter what. But even after Ethan was born, things did not get better. I had to take care of him all alone. Mrs. Collins didn't help me. She said, "He is your baby, not mine." David went back to work a few weeks later and I stayed at home with Ethan. Didn't sleep much. I didn't eat well, but I kept going. I told myself, one day this will change. One day I will have my own life. At night, I still cried sometimes. I looked at the silver bracelet from my mother and held it in my hand. I whispered, "I miss you, Mama. I hope you are okay. I will be strong. I promise." The first year with Ethan was the hardest. I was always tired. I woke up many times during the night to feed him. In the morning, I still had to clean, cook, and do everything in the house. No one helped me. Sometimes I felt like I was not a person, just someone to work and stay quiet. Mrs. Collins never smiled at Ethan. She didn't want to hold him or play with him. She said, "Babies are noisy. Keep him quiet." Mr. Collins didn't say much. He just looked at me like I didn't belong. One night, Ethan was sick. He had a fever, and I didn't know what to do. I asked David to take us to the doctor, but he was watching a movie. He said, "He will be fine. Just give him water." I was scared. I held Ethan in my arms and cried. I stayed awake all night and prayed he would feel better. I missed my mother more than ever. I wanted to hear her voice, but it was not time for my monthly call. I sat in the dark with Ethan and whispered, "I love you, Mama. I need you." After that night, I decided something. I needed to be stronger. I could not wait for someone to save me. I had to save myself. I had to do something for me and my son. I looked in the mirror and said, "You are a mother. Now you must fight." I started to look for ways to learn English. I found a small community center near our home that gave free English classes. I told David I wanted to go. At first, he said, "No, you're too busy," he said. But I didn't stop asking. After many days, he finally agreed, but only for 2 days a week. I was so happy. I went to class with other women like me, immigrants from different places, Mexico, India, Egypt, and more. I was shy at first, but I listened carefully. I learned how to say simple things like, "I need help. I want water. And my baby is sick." Every new word gave me power. The teacher, Miss Lisa, was kind. She always smiled and helped me when I didn't understand. She said, "You are smart, Emily. Keep going." Those words stayed in my heart. No one had called me smart in a long time. Slowly, I started to speak more English at home. David didn't care. He just said, "Do what you want." Mrs. Collins didn't like it. She said, "Why are you trying to be something you're not?" But I didn't stop. I was doing this for Ethan, for me, and for my future. After a few months, Miss Lisa told me there was a part-time job opening at a local bakery. I was nervous. I had never worked outside the house before. I asked David if I could try. He said, "You won't last 1 week." But I went anyway. The bakery was small but warm and friendly. The owner, Miss P's Grace, was kind. She showed me how to serve coffee, bag bread, and speak with customers. My English was not perfect, but I smiled and tried my best. Many people were patient with me. I worked 3 hours a day while Ethan stayed with David or Mrs. Collins. I saved every dollar I earned. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I felt proud. I bought my own winter coat and a small toy for Ethan. Working gave me hope. I saw that life could be better. I started to dream again. I wanted to get a full-time job one day, maybe study something and rent a small apartment for me and Ethan. I didn't want to live in fear anymore. But just when things were getting better, something bad happened. One evening, David came home late. He had been drinking. He walked into the house and started yelling. Ethan was sleeping and I told him to be quiet, but he got angry. He shouted at me and pushed a chair. I was scared. I had never seen him like that before. I ran to the bedroom and locked the door with Ethan in my arms. I sat on the floor shaking. I knew then that I was not safe. Not for me and not for my son. The next morning, I told Mrs. Collins what happened. She looked at me and said, "You made him angry. Maybe don't talk so much." I felt my heart break again. She didn't care. She never did. A week later, things got even worse. David and Mr. Collins were arguing about money. I stayed quiet in the kitchen holding Ethan. Then Mr. Collins walked up to me and said, "You can leave if you don't like it here, but the boy stays." I froze. What did he mean? I said, "I'm his mother." He replied, "This is David's family. The boy stays with us." My legs felt weak. I thought I might fall. I said nothing and walked away. That night, I cried and held Ethan close to my chest. I whispered, "No one will take you away from me. I will never leave you." I called my mother that month and told her everything. I cried and cried. She cried too. She said, "Come back home, Emily. We will help you." But I couldn't leave. Not yet. I had no money, no place. Simple, honest, and ours. I am not rich. I don't have everything. But I have peace. I have freedom. I have a son who loves me. I have friends who support me. And I have myself. And that is enough. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.